Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, trend. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Rich. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel. We cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We got an amazing show for you guys today. We're live from the OnChain Hour, and today's show is going to be absolutely amazing, guys. We have Bitcoin breaking above 113. This is a really good sign. Yesterday, we talked about Colin Toss Crypto basically came out and said, hey, if we can't get back over 112, we're going to have problems potentially all the way down to 98K. That doesn't seem like it's going to be the scenario now. It does seem like we reclaimed 112 and holding above 113 could send us back to 115, 116. We did get really good jobs news today, very flat. I mean, they expected 230. We got 229 jobless claims, so that's okay. GDP came in really high as well. The market's looking good, guys. The market's looking really good. It does feel like we're taking this information in and still saying rate cut. So this is all good news. Rate cut in September is going to set us up for a rate cutting cycle that could potentially last to the end of this year. What happens at the end of this year? If we do get the 3 rate cuts, Jerome might pause in January, but then we're still forward looking because we do know in March will be Jerome's last month. I think he's done March 14th, and then we're going to have a Trump picked person to take that over, which could start another rate cutting cycle. And with the markets being forward looking, we're going to start pricing all this in, guys. It's going to get really exciting the next 3 to 6 months. You know my plan: sell in May and go away. But until then, it's time to rock. It's time to ride. It's time to find the assets that are going to bring you wealth, bring you 100x's, 1000x's. These are possible in a crypto bull run. Do not think that you just need to be in Bitcoin or just be in Ethereum. No, it's time to get risky, and I think the risk on time is coming. There is a such thing, though, as being too early. I'm too early too often. What does that mean? It means I have to be patient and I have to wait, and that's kind of what we're seeing with Trench Kitty right now. Be patient. Have to wait, but it's okay to be too early. Just know what you're in, and there's gonna be a lot of assets down the line where potentially we get in too early. We got huge news today. It does look like Xverse has basically implemented Spark. Spark could be that next big thing in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Something that I'm really bullish on. It did not go so well last time. They did launch for about 6 minutes, and then UTXO.fun completely destroyed the chain with us. I don't know, degens, right? But I think they're going to come back alive. They did put out a statement yesterday saying, "Hey guys, like, that was a stress test. We know what to fix. We're doing audits and stuff like that. So really excited for that. We do have Agent Hustle moving up. We're going to talk about that as well. And there's a lot to go over today, a lot in the news. And so without further ado, let's get the show started. Bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up,
man? How you feeling today, bro? I'm getting there. I'm getting the energy back, bro. I'm getting it back.
Yeah, definitely better than yesterday. Just kind of out of it in terms of mentally the past, I would say like week and a half, 2 weeks, going through some things. But the good thing is self-reflection. I think you got to see those kind of situations and then, pick up and move forward. That's the only option. You got to put your boots back on and get to work and do better, be a better man, be a better woman, be a better father, all those things. And that's what I'm going to do. But I'm excited because I look right now. I know that the alt market is tough. Like Shizzy and I talk about this all the time, and we're like, we're experienced. We're veterans. We've been in this space, like, going back to 2017 of the first real, in my opinion, like mass adopted bull market. But the thing is this bull market has been different than all the rest. Bitcoin, Ethereum has been really the big focus with institutions. But the one thing that we were saying was that like maybe we, you just keep doing what you've been successful at and don't make any drastic moves until it gets easier. And you will start to notice once it gets easier because new opportunities will pop up left and right. And if there's ever going to be an easy, I guess, phase of a stretch of time, it's going to be the last quarter of a bull run year, in my opinion, right? Remember back in 2023, it wasn't crypto wide bull run, but it was Bitcoin ecosystem bull run. And in the last quarter of 2023, it was easy. It was easy. I remember you had a hard time coming out of the summer because we were just learning the ecosystem. Yeah. Then it got super easy. Remember, like, because we learned it and we were just attentive each and every day, and we took advantage at the end of 2023. I think we experienced something similar to that times 5, 10 because it's the entire crypto space. But there will be a point in time, and if I'm wrong with this, then I'm wrong on the entire bull market, a bull run thesis. There will be a point in time at the end of this year, closing up, where it becomes easier and easier to where you don't have to constantly look in the corner of your eye for just one day of gain or loss. You can actually sit there maybe for a week or two, which to me is crazy that we even think that's like a long time. You know what I mean? Like, still though, like with crypto, how it is today. So my point today and my energy that I'm going to bring is get locked in. You don't have to do anything crazy right now. But what I would say is this is the worst time to give up. This is the worst time to lose your focus right now, because right now at the end of August, going through September and October, that's the period of things are starting to move in the background. You're starting to see a lot of energy at the Bitcoin Asia, way more than I expected. I'll tell you that. Yeah. And once we head into that Q4, October, November, big month, and December to kind of finish off the year at least, I think it gets easier, and that's where I'm at. And I know that was a lot of words, and maybe I'm overdoing it with the energy, but I'm here.
No, man, no, 100%. I definitely agree. I think too, what we're going to experience, it's going to be, huge, because not only in a bull run brings number go up, but a bull run brings, to your point, a lot of new stuff, a lot of new projects. People like to release a lot of things in the bull run when Bitcoin is moving, when Ethereum is moving, when a lot of these alts have already done 5x. You're going to see a lot of new things enter the market. That's what a bull run is. Like that's what we experienced last time. We experienced, like, I remember, towards the end of the bull run, you saw, Polkadot launch with all these new parachains, and everybody was just dumping Polkadot to get into these parachains, and it was insane. And I think we're going to get a lot of that energy back, and then people are going to get excited for new opportunities. New opportunities bring new people as well. So we're going to see a lot of new people enter the space. They're going to deal with the growing pains that we had to deal with. They're going to feel like they're the smartest in the room, and then they're going to feel like they're the dumbest in the room. That's kind of what happens in a bull cycle once we get into that bear, and be preparing ourselves for potentially a 27 bear market, which could lead to the next bull market. But we're going to walk you guys through it each and every day here at OnChain Revolution. But let's jump into our first topics of today. Basically the title here, which is next PEPE already brewing on Solana. So this is a basically James Wynn type thing, right? So
Yeah.
the next Pepe is saying a lot, but James Wynn says, I'm calling it GOAT. Current market cap 2.3 million. My projected market cap is billions. He's someone who he called the Pepe one. Do you think that he could do this? I mean, his follower count is astronomical right now. Every word this guy says is being followed by a lot of people. Do you think that potentially he could do this?
I think that his post has a lot of weight because he called Pepe when it was at 4.2 million. We look at that and we say, well, that might be too far, but not really for people that have, managed their bankroll decently. And they have like the Gakes, for example, he can throw 6 to 10,000 at a token and risk to lose it in hours or whatever. Right. So if you get into a coin at like between 2 and 10 million, and it's projected to be the next Pepe, that's a big upside, right? Now, he did screenshot his Pepe call when he called it at 4.2 million. I was under the impression that he got in earlier than that, but nevertheless, it got to 4.2 billion, right? So if he's calling something like that, I think you got to at least look, right? And do I think it's creative in terms of the ticker? Absolutely not. There's already a GOAT, tech thing and stuff like that. Now, they are trying to build off of this like Doge energy with GOAT, which I don't really get it. Greatest of all tokens is what they're going for here. But the situation is it went from 2.3 million to 15 after his call, right? So he has influence, but does it sustain? Does it have that sustainability? Because, it does need to, get to that $100 million mark first. And then from there, if it goes to something like Pepe, then that would be absolutely nuts. You're talking about, at least a $2 billion market cap if it's going to mimic what Pepe did off after his call. So I'm not saying this is going to be the next Pepe. I'm not going to say that or anything like that, but I would say it's worth paying attention to at least and looking at. And if you have this is the big statement here. If you have the extra income disposable, then it could be a good play right now. We do know he's also been getting hit left and right with leverage plays, but like I feel like there's this big system and like he's getting paid for even talking about hyperliquid and all this stuff. But the one thing I will say is that going from, and I've been in the trenches recently, going from anything to 15 million, and while the holder count was growing and stuff like that, as there's been some sell-offs, it's just something to maybe keep your eye on here.
Yeah. Can he get this to 100 million? That's the first question. Because obviously to get to $1 billion, this got a 10x probably pretty soon. I mean, we've never really seen a token do a slow growth like that. It's usually super quick, right? And then a nice pullback and then up. So this is at about 9 million, about 10 million. It just passed. But the volume is the interesting part. $19.8 million in volume here.
Yeah.
This token is what? Let's go to the daily here. It is it's 2 days old.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And if you look at Pepe's kind of, I guess like the way it acted, right? Like its behavior. That's what I was trying to look for. Its behavior. It's kind of similar because like it did kind of get some attention, then it pulled back and calmed down, and then it shot up, right? And so we really, and like I said, it's hard to get to 15 million the past month. 3 weeks in Solana's ecosystem. This has been really, I've seen it happen, especially with the straight meme like this. So I feel like there's probably some cabal energy groups and stuff that are behind this to try to get its continuation going, but it's staying above 10 million right now. I'm looking at it at 10.4 million. So it has that opportunity. Am I ready to call it yet? No. I'm not ready to call it yet. I think if it gets to 20 million, we're talking about a whole different ball game though. Because getting past 20 million with a meme, that's really hard to do. Like, you have to have a really strong movement or narrative. Clippy was one of the last ones that got past that 20 million. That was a straight up meme, but there was an AI movement behind that saying, be careful about AI. We need like AI to be more like Clippy, which is genuinely trying to help the user. And so, I think watching this to see, does it pull back and does it fade and die? Because like, if it doesn't hit a new all-time high, one thing I will agree with you, if it doesn't hit a new all-time high in the next, I would say maybe
Monday.
like by Monday. Yeah, I think that's fair. Then you got to be kind of scratching your head a little bit here. So it could dip down lower than where we are right now, come back over the weekend and bust up and get past 20. Then we're talking serious talk, in my opinion. We're talking about, okay, they're trying to get this thing going.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, for this thing to, I mean, you got to remember the market that we're in, right? It's shit. It's garbage, right? Like, I mean, there is some stuff that is running right now, but like for this to do this well right now, I mean, I just saw it go from, you know, when I first was looking at this like 9.8 to 10.6 right now in the matter of like 2 minutes. I mean, that's strength, right? This coin is showing a lot of strength right now to the point where I'm actually thinking about maybe taking a little position here. So, and this is something I didn't consider before the show at all, but now I'm thinking, I'm like, should I just, you know, take out a little bit of something else and put this in here? I don't know, man. It looks really interesting.
But as anything on Solana, very, very high risk, especially in the early stages. There has to get like 100 million is pretty much as close as you can get to like a point of no return. But we have seen stuff get to 100 million like BitCat did. And I think that was mostly Asia that was pushing that in Q4 of 2024 on Solana, mind you. But it pulled all the way back. Now it's sitting at like mid 6 figures, right? So like, how do you maintain? How do you? That's the big question, right? But the percentages obviously get less and less of coming back as you get closer to 100 million. And what happens after 100? You know, does it get to 150, 200? I feel like Troll is a token that seems pretty safe as it's gotten to like, you know, past 200 million. But this is something I think that's like a new opportunity. We'll see if it plays out that way, but not financial advice. Of course, you guys got to really kind of pay attention to the behavior of it. So 2 days alive, it's hit 2 all-time highs. Obviously, the first one, it doesn't really count because it has to reach that first peak. It wicked up to 15 million. The second day, it's gotten to 17. So far, so good. But let's see what happens up until Monday, because I do think that it is earned a little bit of like cool down. Like if we get back to like 8 and even like dips to like maybe 6.5 or something like that, it's not end of the story. It's how does it react to that? Does it bounce back up? And then what happens before Monday? All-time high has to hit before Monday. If it doesn't and it just lingers around, you lose momentum, you lose hype momentum, you lose all that stuff. And then I think at that point you can kind of say this is too risky at that point.
Yeah, 100%. But you know, you need a couple things for a coin to go good. You need a good KOL. And you know, if he's going to take the reins here and be that, right? I mean, we're talking of James Wynn, somebody who's got to over almost 400,000 followers at this point. So I don't know, man. This could be something to keep your eye on, but let's move along here. We have a lot to go over here. So the next part of this is Spark on Bitcoin, next big meta. Me and Yagobi are both thinking that's the case. And it's not just us, because we have Xverse now coming out, and they basically said, and let me show my screen here. Depositing Bitcoin to Spark is live on Xverse. Deposit your Bitcoin in 3 simple steps. From the dashboard, select convert, set the amount and confirm, wait for the confirmation. Or you can send it as well if you do have it. Like I have some over on UTXO .fun that I could send here, but it's super simple. You just go down to your wallet here, and then you go to your Bitcoin, and then you just hit convert. Deposit Bitcoin. So if I did have some Bitcoin here, I'd be able to convert that into Spark Bitcoin, which will allow me to do pretty much anything that I need to do on Spark. This is really exciting because this is very similar to when Ordinals got their first wallet, right? When so I don't know, Spark's baby. Spark, like I said, lasted 6 minutes and then died. But I do think it gets resurrected here soon. But that shows you the excitement that it had, especially day one.
Absolutely. And the biggest excitement is because of the names behind it, right? You have people that came from that Facebook group that was developing. I know Aptos isn't a huge hit, but you do have Sui, and they kind of went on their own directions there. But this guy is one of the bigger guys from that group, and he's getting a lot of support with funding. He's getting a lot of dev support, tech support, and stuff like that. So this is a make or break for them. Next time that they make it live, it has to be a great experience, right? You know, maybe it's something that their team or somebody releases so they can be sure of that. But Magic Eden is bought in on this. Xverse is given support now. So what's going to happen? I've always been in the camp that says the Bitcoin ecosystem at the end of this year, at the towards the end of this bull run, they will have a kind of thrust up, and I'm starting to feel it heat up. I know that we don't see it super concentrated, especially in the OG runes department. In that area, people are hurting the most, but you see stuff like there's a token on Odin.fund that's called like Crypto Burger. And I know that came from Asia because that's kind of an Asian name. It's like Crypto Burger, but they like after, like, I gotta say, man, Bob, tremendous job that you've been able to do with your bounce backs. Look, you've been in unfortunate situations, but the way you've handled it from a PR perspective to a loyal group user group perspective has been probably the best grade I could give to anybody. 3 separate times there was exploits, but every single time you bounce back stronger than the last. It's mind-boggling, but so congratulations on bouncing back. It's live again. You have Crypto Burger. That's number 2 at $162 million market cap. So that's a lot of liquidity. And I say that I still think that the Bitcoin ecosystem is going to thrive, because I'll tell you this. We might have something very interesting that happened in the EVM's kind of tech stack community last cycle, right? Where like liquidity was flowing from, you had Ethereum that started it all off. Right. Then you had Phantom that really hyper kicked it and said, hey, we got some like really cool games that you guys could play, make money. A lot of people made money, a lot of people lost. But then what happened is kept rotating to AVAX, to Chronos, to Polygon, to all these EVM chains. We could experience something similar to that because there's liquidity now that's starting to show its face in the Bitcoin ecosystem with Odin.fund. I mean, you don't have, those type of market caps unless there's money there and there's loyalty. So you could see some of these whales that are making tons of money from Odin, rotating to Spark, rotating to this, rotating to that, and then rotate back. And, so that's where my mentality is starting to kind of shape and say, look, I think it's been great for me to really learn lessons and learn about the Solana ecosystem, but I'm ready to kind of get back into the Bitcoin ecosystem. I'm ready to kind of get back to my roots. That's where it started for us in 2023. I'm not saying not cover the other areas. We covered, possibility of next PEPE, but I'm just saying, I think there's a reason I had that conviction for the Bitcoin ecosystem thriving in Q4 of this year. And I'm really going to dive deep into Spark. I'm going to dive deep into BRC 2.0, these opportunities, because there could be a liquidity rotation happening once Bitcoin's at 160, 180, a lot of money's made, all these things, ordinals are popping. We got to remember what it was like in Q4 of 2023, and we could get something if not bigger than that. We'll see. Right now, it's hard to lay a bunch of money on that bet, but I will say this, that they're starting to get some energy live and living back into it, and you see it from the Bitcoin Asia conference.
Yeah, we're seeing that, but we're not seeing it in the price, right?
Well, not for OG runes.
Yeah, Gizmo's at 5 million, Billy's at 8.5 million. Dog had a little bit of a move today, which is good to see, back up near 300 million, but still below it. I'm seeing the energy, right? But I'm not seeing it in the price action. When do you think, or maybe are we going about this to start going after some of the newer stuff and kind of leaving the older stuff? Maybe not touching it. Like, what do you think about that? Because I'm actually leaning towards that a little bit. I'm actually leaning towards maybe getting into some newer things, including Spark, and kind of maybe lowering my exposure to some of these old OG runes.
Yeah, so I actually think that OG runes are going to have a beautiful like redemption story, but I think as of right now, the excitement is kind of on these deep liquid tokens that are on Odin, RadFi. We saw a little bit of that, right? But because of the investment in Kraken in runes, and because of the investment in some of these huge whales in runes, and Dog, to be more specific, they're going to make sure Dog wins. And then I think because of that, the other OGs will get a lot of attention. And here's where I think like the success could come from them, and then we got to really figure out, is there going to be a home base for these OGs other than Magic Eden? Because at the end of the day, if there's some sort of way to make deep liquidity on Magic Eden, whether it's through Spark or something like that, to where these OG runes can just participate in this kind of similar type of action, right? That's the problem, is they still don't have that. And then also this is where like new comes in, new opportunity comes in. That's why these other tokens are thriving, because people see them as new opportunity, not stuck liquidity or stuck tokens, right? But Magic Eden could, you know, kind of be that, or another, if Arch comes out. I know we keep saying that, but it's coming close to like put up or shut up for Arch and middle and these kinds of you know, environments, right? But that's what's needed. But you could still have the top, you know, 3 to 5 win just from the centralized exchange approach if Kraken really goes hard into it, while these other new opportunities, these deep liquidity platforms like Odin.fun and RadFi and whatever Spark has and whatever BRC 2.0 has can win, while just the top 3 to 5 on the centralized exchange propping up. Those could get really big, but
Yeah.
that's in my opinion, worst case scenario for OG runes is that. But best case scenario is if there's a home base that forms with deep liquidity for these OG runes. We just don't know. We've tried it. You know, people don't have interest on Odin to add liquidity to an opportunity that's passed them by, right? And same thing with RadFi. They don't want the opportunity that's old, that's passed them by. Even getting into $5 million token like Gizmo on Odin doesn't make sense to them if they're in these little trading groups, and they can just run it up from like 200, 300, 500,000 and get it to like 20 million, right? So it's really gonna have to be the communities from these runes and stuff that are established, that are still there, that really just, you know, throw it up.
Yeah, I agree. Really excited for it. I'm gonna read a quick tweet from Flashnet, which is one of the builders that's building on Spark. They said, "Hey everyone, the team has been heads down, nonstop building to get things perfect. As we start wrapping up, we wanted to give a quick update." So I do like the fact that they're wrapping up. On launch day, we saw hundreds of thousands of dollars flow through the system in a few minutes. We were not anticipating this load. For not anticipating that load was stupid. I mean, you have to understand the users on Bitcoin are insane for a load beta. Spark doesn't process transactions in sequential blocks. Everything is concurrent. I have no idea what that means. I'm going to look into that, though. That speed comes with the challenge of having to carefully manage leaves so auction actions don't collide. We had tested for high concurrency, but the beta brought more demand than expected. The issue was identified and fixed quickly. So it does feel like they are ready. They have some audits getting done here, and they're going to be ready to get this going again. UTXO.fun was the DApp that destroyed Spark, right? And Flashnet. So I'm curious. First, I got to figure out how this works. We got to get one of the members of the team on to kind of break this down for us. But I'm excited that they're about to get this up and going again. I need to get some Bitcoin over to my Flashnet or my Spark wallet. So
absolutely. Likewise, you know, I'm gonna be ready to play over there. I want to see like what the tech is like. I know I kind of am glad I skipped out on your experience, but
terrible.
but you know, they are coming out and saying. So I would say this: they should have did more in terms of communication, but they at least communicated. Literally follow the Bob strategy, the Bob playbook.
Yeah.
Like as soon as it happens, put out an update. A day later, put out another update. 2 days after that, put out another update. And then like it's worked, dude. Like if you have any type of like bad PR from performance or anything of your protocol, do the Bob strategy. I'm gonna coin that as the Bob strategy, because like it's a great PR strategy.
That's everyone's strategy. You get hacked.
No one does it.
Put out everyone does it.
Not as consistent as him, dude. He literally puts it out.
Well, no one gets hacked as consistent as him.
No, I'm talking about each instance. Like he put 4 tweets out in 5 days, and then the early next day. So he makes his community feel at ease. He retains the trust and all those things. But there's a lot of times where there's just one statement, and then you don't hear from him for a week, and then and then a small little statement, and they're just lost. That's why I'm saying that, like, he's done a great job with it. He has support in B Life and in his community, and that helps a ton, but he had to earn that support from the beginning.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Another hack, though. Can we both agree that this is done?
No. I would have said that
I
would have said that two hacks ago. The thing is that there's no way like he should be even surviving right now. You know what I mean? But like He has, because of the way he handles each thing, a separate one, and also no one loses money. That's the big thing with him. No one, they always
Except
able
Bob.
to. Well, yeah, but
How long did if another hack happens, where can you get another 60 Bitcoin from, bro? Like, come on. Like,
I mean, they're making fees. They're making a lot of fees on volume. So I think that what they're counting on is like, hey, get this right. So once we're in the heat of the bull market, like our fees are gonna times 10 to 50, right? So it's worth it, the investment right now, to make everybody like feel, you know, safe and all that stuff. Now, I don't know about what the future holds in terms of exploits and all that stuff. So you got to always be thinking about that. But if you look at the market caps, Crypto Burger 152, Odin PEPE 82, BitCat 55, MIM comes in after that at 44. For Steady Scan 26. I mean, these are healthy as hell market caps with pretty deep liquidity.
Yeah, 100%. So the last thing here is Tether today announced plans to launch USDT on the RGB protocol, providing a possibility for stablecoins to exist natively on Bitcoin. I hate this. I think it's stupid. RGB is something nobody uses. It's outdated. We now have runes, ordinals, BRC20s, alkanes, Spark. There's like 100 other protocols that are better than this. What do you think? I think it's stupid.
I think that they're trying to you know, have a stable coin that they feel like can flow free and like quickly. RGB does have smart contracts. That's probably why I think they picked them right away. And that doesn't mean that, like, you know, it has smart contracts. I obviously it has to be off chain.
It has
but
no users.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I think they're betting on Xverse and these other Bitcoin wallets to integrate this in as a stablecoin option, to where you can sell your Bitcoin directly to stablecoin. You know what I mean? That's all you need it for at this point. You know what I mean? So like if you're trading memes on Odin, if you're trading memes on Spark, if you're trading these things and you're up heavy in Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's at like 160, but you think it's going to pull back to 140, then you could quickly just, you know, switch over, deposit your Bitcoin and trade it in for this USDT that's on RGB, and it's held there on your Xverse wallet. That's the only reason why I think they would do it, is something like that. They're banking on that.
I don't get it. I still don't get it. I think it's stupid. But I think it's a protocol no one uses. There's barely any community for it.
But if it's only for stable, to switch in and out of stable and Bitcoin, then that's all you need it for anyways.
Yeah, possibly for sure. All right, let's jump into a quick TK update here. So the Trench Kitty has been getting hit a little bit, but this is normal for when airdrops happen. So we did an airdrop last week to a lot of the Bitcoin community members. People are holding our pass, people that were in our members. So, and we are seeing a lot of people selling. So that's kind of what happened. They're bridging it back and kind of selling here. But I do think that the sell pressure is ending because the staking is about to start on Monday. So I'm still very bullish on TK, guys. This is not something that is going to be a short-term thing. This is a long-term thing for us. It's something that we will be a part of forever. And this is our mascot. This is our guy. Trench Kitty will always be a part of the show. So not concerned about the price action at all. Do I want it to head back up here? Yes. Do I think it will? Yes. Well, let's jump over to the Magic Eden side. We are seeing the Magic Eden side holding up pretty well, sitting at 167,000. So that's really good to see. And then the Trench Kitty community is doing well as well. 213 followers, 84 members. So if you have not followed Kitty yet, get over here, follow the Trench Kitty. And if you have not joined the community, join the community. But guys, you know, it doesn't look great, but it's still holding up pretty well. 91K, 37 liquidity. Excited, very excited.
Yeah, I mean, you got it. And also, like the Solana trenches, other than this kind of manipulated GOAT token, has been getting like thumped pretty hard, as well as you know, Magic Eden runes. Like it's not an OG rune, but it falls into that because that's how it's traded, right? So you got to think about that. Also, just in my opinion, keep focusing on the community building. Go over to the community right now. I'm actually going to create a post and see if you guys are down for a spaces on Saturday. If you are, then great, I'll host it. It'll be just kind of talking about what's to look forward to in Q4. Also the runes Bitcoin ecosystem, talk a little Solana talk as well. Just kind of get in the habit of congregating, because I think that's what we need, right? We're all family and community here. So it'll be me that's going to be doing that. Shizzy probably going to not participate as much in those, but he has, like, you know, his I don't know if you're going to pick up the Sunday night stuff again.
Yeah, so I'm doing the Sunday night stream. Yeah, this week.
So yeah, we're kind of doing our extra extra work on the weekends as well. But I'll put that poll up later today. Vote in there. If I get enough people, man, they're always fun. Like whenever we host a space, we always make it fun. So yeah.
Stannis question, Sparkle or Morpho. Give us more information on Morpho. I have no idea what the hell that is. All right, let's jump into some economic stuff here. So, U.S. initial jobless claims for the week ending August 23rd were 229,000 claims, slightly below the expected 230K. So, right in line there. But, so we didn't get more. We barely got less. So, that does not affect anything. Q2. Real GDP annualized growth rate was revised to 3.3, surpassing expectations of 3.1. So we do have GDP now sitting really, really good. I mean, I think it's the highest GDP from any country is at 3.3. So this is really, really good. So what do you think about this jobless claims? What do you think about this GDP happening now? And let me grab the poly markets real quick before you answer that and kind of check that out as well. Poly market, we do have about 81% rate cut and 19% no rate cut. So how do you feel about the data, GDP, and potential rate cut for September?
So GDP data, let's start there. I think that it shows, that we are still the number one consumer market. I think to be able to surpass us would take a decade at minimum, probably longer than that. But so it shows that our consumer, which I don't know if that's a good thing for the everyday person in America, but we still like to buy even though we're broke. That's just how it's been. Buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
That is America. But with that being said, it does show strength in the analytics or the numbers, the metrics here. So that's really, I think that's good, but it's not like super, super crazy. And then the jobless claims were right there, right underneath. But I think no matter what comes out right now, like it's rate cut time in September, right? I think that's the mentality. The no change even dropped 2 more points from earlier today. I don't know where those points went because we were at 81 on the 50 and 25. So it's not adding up right now, but it's all good. But with that being said, well, I guess it is adding up because that's 19 and then 81. Yeah. So I guess it is. Yeah. But that's so weird because maybe I was looking at it differently. But how many percent down is no change now?
2%, yeah.
Okay. So something happened. Maybe I just miscalculated it earlier.
Just remember, you don't have to take one of these, right? You don't. Yeah. You can just vote. You can bet no.
Yeah, true.
Just because I think it's gonna be a rate cut doesn't mean I can just take all of these bets, right? But it's just showing that 2% are saying no now.
Absolutely. And but look, I think that like we're gonna get that rate cut in September. We're at 81 unless something super drastic happens. It's bull run year. We have a possibility of 3 rate cuts coming up, and we haven't had one in a very long time. No one wanted to purchase bonds, so I think it's time to go into QE as well. And I think they're starting to realize that, that was probably really I mean, it wasn't publicized to the point to where we saw it in our timeline so quickly, but the people that needed to know knew that the bonds weren't being bought up, right? And so I'm sure that Jerome Powell had a lot of conversations about that, because there's a lot of important people who are like, hey, this ain't good, let's figure out how to turn this around. And so I'm bullish about September in the aspect of starting to get into risk on. I'm not bullish on alts in September just yet. I'm not going to be bullish on alts until it becomes much easier to make money in alts. I think that getting in that mindset of, I gotta get in here early. Well, if you have the luxury of doing that with disposable income, fine. You're making those bets early. But once it becomes a little bit easier and you're like, okay, look, I can kind of hold this for a little bit. That's whenever I think like the opportunities are going to start coming left and right, whether that's November, late October, but it's going to come in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But someone who kind of saying what you're saying right here, which is Benjamin Cohen, he says that 1 week warning, Bitcoin dominance is likely going to move higher in September, October. So what do you think about this? So this is the Bitcoin dominance chart. It has, it basically came down to here, touched it now 3 times. And he's saying it will bounce next week and forward back to 63. He is somebody who, back when we were dipping here, he said, hey, we're going back up. He said 67 or 64. He said 64. And we only got back up to 63. So he was kind of still right there. I'll give him that. But now he's saying we are going to be bouncing off this line. But what happens if we break it, right? So what do you think? Do you think we bounce off this line, Bitcoin Diamonds goes higher, or do you think we break it and get to
I think
the
we
end of this
bounce.
downtrend?
I think we bounced off the line. I think he's going to be right about this. You know, he isn't calling for a massacre of Ethereum. I think what he's going to probably call for here a bit is some of these altcoins kind of going back to bleeding a little bit. But I think like right now we're dealing with the chosen few, right? So we're dealing with Bitcoin, which it's kind of been fighting back and forth, letting Ethereum have its time in the limelight. And then we got Ethereum, of course, which has been the main show the past 2 years, the past 2 months. And then we're starting to get Solana that's saying, hey, look, I got a little something to flash you guys, right? And so I think that those three are pretty safe when Bitcoin dominance goes back up, right? And so other than that, like hype might be an outlier just because hype just has so much hype and they have stuff to back that with in terms of fee metrics and buying back the token. I mean, they're just set up to go to beat the odds, right? And so I think like plays like hype and very far and few between. If there's a DAT that comes out, treasury companies investing heavily into something like, let's say Merlin, I'm just putting them as an example, that could be one of the outliers. Look for treasury investments, look for ETF inflow increases. Those are the things for those coins until alt season becomes easy. Once alt season becomes easy, we're in rate cut, we're in on risk on, whether that's November, late October, November, because that's what I'm targeting. Then you say, okay, things are getting easier, and it probably won't. Some of these plays that would normally bleed out against Bitcoin probably will show some strength, and then we get into the November and December, and an ideal bull run for even what we've been through right now would be some easy plays in those last 2 months. Make sure you make smart decisions during that period, but that's what's kind of what you've been waiting for this entire year.
Yeah, 100%. Benjamin Cohen is someone who has been right. Kind of going back to this. But I do think that he's eventually going to be wrong, and he was wrong a lot in 2021. I mean, he was wrong a lot, but he hasn't missed since January 2022. I remember first time I heard him say, get a if you feel like buying an altcoin, get a cold shower. Right. And I actually brought this up to him when we were in Nashville for the Bitcoin conference. I said to him, I was like, yeah, I remember you saying that. And then he still said, hey, I still feel that way. Still the cold shower stuff. But he's been bullish on ETH lately. So he's been kind of saying that. So I do think that this is the area of time when he's going to be wrong. And I do think we're going to be down in the low 50s, maybe high 40s in October.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it to like surpass that previous local high in terms of dominance necessarily, though. I just think maybe we see like maybe getting to that maybe not even like a higher high, maybe a lower high, but like kind of pulling up a bit here before a strong thrust down in late October to November, right? And then that's when I think we see like the you know what I mean? And that at that point, maybe even November, but at that point, Bitcoin would have been getting to like 150 to 175 range. So it could take a $15,000 pullback from 175 and getting to 160 or something like that, right? So I think that's the idea. But obviously we don't know. We can't tell the future. The one thing I will say, though, you're right. He was wrong during that period. He's been right a lot this year. There's going to be a moment in time.
You can't cut and miss.
Yeah. So there's going to be a moment in time, I think, that like we're going to see if Cohen is going to be stubborn with alt season, you know what I mean? Or is he going to read it how it is? I'm not saying that like I know exactly how it's going to be, but I think it's going to be a good way to kind of see if he's kind of maybe learn from that situation to that short period of time where he was wrong. You know what I mean? There was a good stretch. I mean, he doesn't have much. These guys is really, really smart, and he's really good at what he does with his charting and his forecasting. But I think he also knows that like there's gonna be a time when it gets easy. And he knows that it might not last forever. It might be a month and a half to 2 months, but that's forever in crypto, in my opinion. I would love a month and a half to where it's easier. it's much easier, and you're not worried like trading memes in Solana constantly left and right, checking, looking over your back constantly, that type of thing. But I think he knows that there's going to be a month and a half to 2 months that it's going to be easier, and that's the win time. You got to win as much as you can in that point, because I'm not saying that the beginning of 2026 is going to be a hard crash down, but what I am saying is that's not going to last forever. You'll have some residual effects in 2026, and maybe we have a different typical post-bull run year, but I do think that window is very important at the end of this year.
Yeah, I disagree though. I think this window is going to be wide open for next 9 months. I just think that there's too much things to look forward to next year to have a bearish year. There's too much. I mean, new Fed chairman. You how can you be bearish with a new Fed chairman in March? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, true. And one last thing too is that this administration knows that 2026 is very vital in terms of voting and keeping the power within Congress, and so they want to give the best economic experience in 2026. So you have that. But what I'm saying is, I think that window at the end of this year is going to be easy time for a month and a half, and then next year maybe it's more of like strategic easier. You know what I mean? Because this year has been hard.
Insanely easy next year.
I think it'll be like. Strategy wise, it's been pretty hard, even like with the safer stuff this year. Like it was just growing like a snail. You know what I mean?
Well, you just had it be in Bitcoin. That was the strategy for this year. U.S. Department of Commerce says we are cementing our role as the blockchain capital of the world. Chainlink partners with the U.S. Department of Commerce to bring official data on chain. What do you think about this? What do you think about all this data that's about to come on chain here? And I do have a chart here that's basically saying that it's going to be not just on one chain, but it's going to be all of the public blockchains. Botonix is there. Isn't that funny? Arbitrum, Avalanche, Base, Botonix, Ethereum, Lena, Mantle, Optimism, Sonic, and ZK Sync will all have this data provided from the Departments of Commerce to Chainlink, and then being distributed from Chainlink to any blockchain pretty much, but these ones being the first 10.
Huge win for Botonix there.
I know. When I saw that, I was blown away.
Well, they got the win because they're U.S. based and probably fought for that. But that's a big win for them, and Artura too, because I mean, like whenever you get into that kind of light, look, these were picked because they're U.S. companies. Number one, number two, this is big. I mean, like that shocked me. I didn't expect to see Botonix up there.
Yeah, me either. I was blown away by it when I saw it this morning. I was like, holy crap. But still pretty cool. And best thing about this too is like you're gonna be able to like bet on chain, with these poly markets and stuff, and then just kind of wait for the data to be posted on chain. So it's going to be easier for these prediction markets to kind of find the data that you're betting on, right? So that's going to benefit poly market and prediction markets for sure. All right, let's move along here. So American Bitcoin, backed by Trump's two sons, will go public via all-stock merger with Gryphon Digital Mining, aiming to start trading on Nasdaq in early September. This might be one of the few stocks that I want to hold long-term. I think American Bitcoin mining with the Trump kids could be one of the biggest miners one day.
I agree with that. Like, I mean, they're just really carving their name into the industry. You know what I mean? So it's like what Trump's father started for him and his family with the real estate. Yeah. Now Trump is kind of getting that started for his sons and his family in the crypto industry, right? So it's just kind of a new industry. I think that, like I always said this, I think they'll always have their hand in the real estate jar just because it's so like legacy kind of situation, right? But I think that they're going to be a huge player in digital asset industry. Huge player.
Yeah, I agree for sure. Robinhood announces launch of ton spot trading. Robinhood previously expanded its cryptocurrency support, including Sui, FLOKI, ONDO, and PENGU, and now Ton. They are moving slow though. I mean, a ton has been, one of the top blockchains. Obviously it runs the Telegram chain. Every Telegram has a wallet now. I just noticed I had a wallet on my Telegram today when I was looking into it to see how easy it was. But yeah, I mean, Robinhood, man, will they get faster at this, or do you think this is like a strategic process that it takes a while to get these tokens listed there?
I think they'll get faster at it. I just think they're slow rolling it right now because
Yeah.
we're in August. I think they start to pick things up in September, October, especially October. I think October is going to be the fast listing month for all centralized exchanges. Let's get everything up that we need to get up because we're about to head into November, December. It
Yeah.
makes sense for that. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. With especially Robinhood's kind of not the native centralized exchange, so
Yeah.
but they'll speed it up. They've been at these conferences. They went to Bitcoin conference. They're probably in Asia. They're going to speed it up. But
100%.
I want to get the
Shout out to
stand.
Stan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Go ahead.
Any opinion on World Liberty Finance launch? Thanks. Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the biggest tokens in the world. I think it's going to be something sought after. It's going to have a DAT, which is, it's going to be trading over there as well. They can potentially go public even with the coin. This is something that is new, something we've never seen before. They are doing DeFi related activities. They are just everywhere. They have a stable coin. I mean, damn, this thing. This is going to be top 10. Top 20 token by the end of the cycle.
By the end of the cycle, I agree. The globalists really messed up, I think, by like debanking that family and that business because now they're gonna have a big control of this digital market, right? But with that being said, that was a good kind of transition into from the previous topic that we were talking about, right? And I do think that this is going to be huge. I think there's going to be tons of investors in this, a lot of support. This is going to be a new brand that we start to see across the nation and globe. You'll see World Liberty Financial probably sponsoring football games. You know what I mean? It's kind of, you remember a Pacific Insurance or whatever with the whale, on those games. Like we'll probably see stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so really, really big on that. Their launch. I think they're going to get as much support as they want, basically.
Yeah, and they're based out of Florida. Could you see World Liberty Fi Stadium, the old FTX Stadium potentially?
I would not do that just because of bad juju. You know what I mean? I would just be like, nah, we'll pass on that. Let's do let's do something. I don't know, maybe Miami, Florida, or sorry, the Dolphins, not the.
Yeah.
Pick the NFL.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. And Stan says World War. We'll get to the comments in a second, but first let's get into where is this banner? There it is. All right, let's kind of get into today's fear and greed. So last week we were at a 50. Yesterday we're at a 47. We are lower than that 47, not by much, and I don't feel like it is where we're going to stay. I think we're back in the 50s. But where do you think we are today, and where do you think we're going to be tomorrow?
What was it yesterday?
47. A little lower than that.
Okay, 45. And then tomorrow I expect us to be at let me see here. I gotta cheat a little bit. I'm gonna use a little bit of my cheat. Go ahead.
54.
Yeah, so I'll say that we'll be around 53 to 55 tomorrow.
Yeah, I think
maybe even higher, depending if the situation plays out the way I think it is, but we'll see.
Man, I keep looking at the Go token, man. It's back down to 10 million. I can't stop looking at it. But let's jump into the next segment of the show, which is the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles, brought to you guys by the great guys over at Artura, Artura.finance. They are dropping a trading competition, guys. It is about to get super exciting. Botanix tweeted about it this morning. They mentioned the ARA token. I mean, come on, guys. They have a point system, and now they have a token. I definitely want to be a part of that, giving away $20,000 to users of this. Get over to Botanix. You can use 2,100 Bitcoin. I just converted like $200 in Bitcoin this morning over there. I'm waiting for that bridge to get done, and then I'm going to start airdrop hunting as well, airdropping the largest Bitcoin airdrop ever, which is from Botanix, and not to mention the ARA token with the points. Things are about to get insane, guys. You definitely want to take advantage of this. I'm in a long right now on Ethereum just for the hell of it. $35, 25x leverage. Let's see what happens, but I'm earning points. Only thing that really does matter at the end. And I'm not just doing it for Artura. There's other opportunities as well. We're going to be putting out an airdrop video this Sunday, walking you through each step about how to take advantage of this Botanix Bitcoin airdrop. Guys, you're able to take that Botanix Bitcoin that you're airdrop and bring it back to Bitcoin Layer 1. I mean, it's going to be that easy. It's seriously going to be that easy. So definitely want to be a part of this. Get that free Bitcoin. Start using Artura.finance today.
Absolutely, and that's huge of Botanics. So congratulations to them to be a part of that new data, U.S. government data on their chain, right?
Yeah.
So that's really, really big, man. That I feel like that changes a lot of things in terms of attention and stuff, investment possibly, and stuff like that. So really excited about that. But guys, before we get into this Bitcoin price action, I'm gonna ask you guys to help us as I do every day, and you guys are awesome enough to do it. But on the YouTube side, smash that like for us. It changes everything, I guess. That's what they say. And then subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you turn your notifications on. If you are new, welcome to the on-chain revolution and Trench Kitty families. But yeah, on the X side, let's share this space, guys. Definitely better than yesterday, but let's get that going. We want to onboard as many people to the space as possible. And then shout out to all of our other platforms. You got Abstract, you got Kick, you got Twitch, and then Spotify as well. And don't forget about good old Rumble. But let's get in some Bitcoin price action here. Brought to you guys by the lovely people at Artura.finance. But let's take a look at the hour chart. So we have started an uptrend here. I know it doesn't look great right now, but you know we've been in buy pressure actually on the hour time frame since Tuesday, really midnight, so late Monday. But you can see this uptrend has really formed nicely on Bitcoin side of things, right? So maybe that's why Cohen thinks that we are about to go into some Bitcoin dominance. And remember, Ethereum can still do well and Bitcoin dominance go up as long as the rest of the market, maybe Solana hangs out with them as well, the top three right now, and the rest of the market pulls back. So we could see something like that. But you're seeing a good uptrend here. We'll see if this breaks into some consolidation or we continue it, right? We are seeing a little bit of sell down right now. We got all the way up to 113,500, and now we've seen that wick go all the way down to 112,480. Now we are starting to go back into the sell pressure. So I'm a little bit worried about this because we've had this buy pressure for a while. Like I mentioned, late Monday for Bitcoin. That was after an extended sell pressure though that lasted from the 22nd of August all the way until the 26th. So we haven't had as long of the buy pressure necessarily here, but we'll see how strong the sell pressure lasts because as you can see, technically the fast line has crossed over the slow line, which means we've actually flipped sentiment on the momentum indicator here. But how long does it last? Is it something short and then we get to see something like really aggressive? Because this pull up was good. Yeah, we went from 112 to 113.5, but it wasn't that great, right? If you look at it, I mean, you're talking about like a 108. Okay, so about $5,000 swings. Oh, it's okay. Definitely not pulled back from where we dropped though, right? So we'll see how long this lasts, and if it's going to be heavy sell pressure or what. But we definitely want to see how we last here. Let's kind of see what the support and resistance is for the hour chart for Bitcoin. Going here, all right. Pulling up to 3 a.m. this morning, you can see that we are fighting back against the resistance. So we are winning this area of low volume. So it doesn't mean too much, but it's very balanced though. You can see we're barely winning here. We are winning barely below that at the 112,600 area. And then it doesn't really get reversed until we get to 112,400, and it's still pretty balanced there. So, what we want to stay away from is the 112,400 even though, because it's dominated, not a lot of volume. And then as you can see below that, I don't know, man. We'll see if we can hold this. We got to hold this strength right here and then get some large buy bids right now would push us up because there's not a ton of volume here. And when we get to the next higher volume area, it's the 112,850, and we are winning barely in that area, but we are winning pretty heavily in the 112,900, and then above that it's pretty much a coin toss, right? So I would say we probably have the advantage to, for if we can get some large bids to push Bitcoin up to the upside. On the downside, it's it's even until we get here, and then we lose advantage big time to the resistance. So the idea is, hey, let's stay at least in this area and maybe get some push up with some large buy bids coming up, and then we can kind of maintain in this high 112, low 113 area for the hour chart. So yeah, we'll see how the sell pressure has officially started in the hour chart. So we'll see how strong that maintains. Taking a look here on the 4-hour chart though, I'm going to remove this, the trend lines there, and just taking a look, it's definitely kind of unique. You see here, there's a strong push up which was last Friday. We know why that happened with this big sell down, oversold in my opinion on the 4 hour though. Like you could see that was oversold, but now we're trying to kind of get to match it. And if we kind of overbuy, we can try to get to the upside. But the 4 hour chart, you know, you can see right now we are starting to lose a little momentum. We do need that help from the 1 hour chart to kind of continue this, right, and sustain this buy pressure. We've been up here for a good amount of time. If we don't sustain it, I look at that as not necessarily the worst thing possible, but we didn't make up for the overselling on the 4 hour chart, right? But it doesn't always work that way. It's not always symmetrical to where you just make up for like an oversold or you make up for an overbought situation. We are in a bull market though. So what could happen here if we do lose the momentum? We could have like a short temporary sell down period right here and we kind of consolidate. That would be the best case scenario, in my opinion, if we lose this. Now, best case scenario in general is the 1 hour chart gives us a big push up. Maybe we get some good news headline, and then we actually soldier on here. We continue and we stay up here, which is very possible. You know, we haven't lost too much yet. The fast line hasn't started to curl down here on the 4 hour chart. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in terms of the 4 hour chart. It's very important for the next 2-3 days. Also a little weird too, heading into the weekend, whenever you put a lot of weight on the 4 hour chart, because Saturday is typically just a toss-up day, like, you know, a lot of scalping, a lot of trading back and forth, not a ton of volume, but just that's where the action's going to be. And so we'll see how the 1 hour places Bitcoin for the 4 hour later today. I think by the end of the show, we'll get a pretty clear, you know, view on how strong the sell pressure is on the 1 hour, and they can really give us a clear view on the heading into the weekend. All right, let's take a look at the daily. Daily is losing some steam on the sell side. It's important to look at these higher time frames, these larger time frames, because you know you really get to see the zoomed out picture. And so, you know, we were in buy pressure a lot. You know, going from April to July, there was some sell pressure in June and July for Bitcoin as Ethereum was thriving. But now, you know, it seems like the sell pressure has lasted quite a bit, actually. If you look here since July with a little bit of break. So Bitcoin's due, in my opinion, for a strong thrust up. And that's probably why Cohen thinks that we're getting close to this Bitcoin dominance going up and not down. So we shall see. But I do like to see a couple of these green candles, you know, or at least this green candle for the daily. You can see that. We'll see if we can finish it here. But let's get to Ethereum. So Ethereum's one that I'm very, you know, looking at aggressively right now. You can see we're at 45.02. It looks like we're losing some momentum here on the hour chart. But one thing me and Shizzy, you know, Shizzy pointed out to me actually, it was very, very good kind of seeing this, but very similar price action on the hour chart. If you go back to the 20th last Wednesday, before that huge thrust up, right? I mean, it's very almost, it's very similar. You can see kind of this rise up here with a pull back down, and then a short rise up with a strong pull down, and then a thrust up. We obviously had the help from the speech at Jackson Hole, but what happens here? Because this looks like it's playing out exactly, you know, the same here, except for this hour candle right here didn't eat the wick up as high, but it did eat the wick up some. Now we're starting another hour candle here. Do we get a green? Typically from like a strong hour candle that's really like straight down, you will get the opposite, the inverse for the next candle up. If that's the case, and we do start to see Ethereum rise back up here, we could see something similar. I'm not calling a Jackson Hole candle, but I'm just saying maybe we get something to where we start to trend back up, right? So something just to keep an eye out on. If you do look at the momentum indicators, though, not the best situation. It's not like straight sell down to zero or anything like that, but you're starting to see some a little bit of strength there. But you know, we'll see how long this lasts, right? We just reached the oversold territory on the fast line on the stochastic RSI. Let's take a look at the support and resistance for Ethereum, though. I like to see this green. Let's get this green candle stronger. I'd like to see this hour candle at least, you know, creep up a third to halfway up to this previous sell down candle, and I'm okay if we ping pong. I'm okay. We just don't want to have back-to-back consecutive big red candles. That would be not good. But let's take a look here. Going back to the data on Ethereum at 2 a.m. this morning, you can see that we are losing we just took the lead back here in this little low volume area, by the way. But the 4,500 area, we're starting to win now. Right above that, it is low volume. So if we get some big buy, huge buy bids here, we could push through that, even though we're getting beat decently here to the resistance side. But yeah, it's kind of just teetering back and forth. It's interesting, but low volume, remember. So in low volume, you don't want to have huge sell bids. If you want it to go up, you want to have huge buy bids to get us to a place of safety, right? But we just need to have more buy bids come in here. Even in this area, we're losing a little bit here. So we need to see Ethereum show a little bit more strength here. Now, it was just at 44, like 70, I think it got to. So we are showing a little bit of a U-turn in trajectory here. Let's see if that continues. But let's check the monthly chart for Ethereum. This is the last one before I go into the crypto bubbles. So taking a look here, I need to restart. Why is that doing that? Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, the VRVP is not there. It is. Okay, so looking at the monthly chart, thesis is still, you know, the same in my opinion. We have pulled back some. You can see this kind of wick right here. Get rid of this. Okay, so we did kind of lose some of that momentum. You can see the wick did pull down here, right? But we're about to start a new monthly candle. You know, do we go into something, you know, that's a bit hyper aggressive to the upside for September for Ethereum? I don't know. They're still in the news. I think that we're still going to see Tom Lee in the news. I know that's been boring and stuff, but like expect something similar to what we saw with Saylor and these Bitcoin treasury companies. They didn't stop. I don't expect Tom Lee to stop either, or Sharplink. So kind of expect something similar to Bitcoin whenever it first started to get that attention for treasuries and ETF inflows and stuff like that. So we just started our bullish momentum on the monthly chart for Ethereum. I don't think we quit that. So I think we're still in a good spot here, but we do want to see some strength. I think having a good start to the September candle would be very important. And it makes me wonder if we're going to pull back a little bit even more, just so, because we know we might have a good start to September. We'll see how Ethereum reacts, but I'm confident in Ethereum still. I think that, you know, there's going to be a lot of buying Ethereum at these prices. To them, it's cheap, especially if you're calling targets of 10 to 12,500 by year end. I mean, you got to still, you know what I mean? You got to have aggressive buy pressure if you want to reach those targets. So that's Bitcoin and Ethereum there. And going to the crypto bubbles. Pith.
Why is Pith up so much? Damn.
Not sure. But that's definitely pretty big there. You can see Pith pulling up 60% on the day. So they might have, you know, got some sort of partnership or contract with something, because, you know, that's a huge jump up. It had to do with you know, I don't know, maybe they are partnering with a country in Asia. Chainlink is partnering with the United States, so maybe that's the case. I don't know, we got to figure that out. But they're up 60%, so congratulations to the holders there. Crypto.com Crow token is up 20%.
Oh wow, it was one of the, so it wasn't just Chainlink, but it was also Pith. They partnered with the government
The U.S. government.
Yeah.
So they're basically doing, one is kind of like the primary and one's probably secondary. It's just like the syndicate loan tracking or something for a huge financial institution. They have their tracking system, and then they hire another company to mimic that in case like there's an error or a mistake or something. So I mean, I'm just speaking off the top of my head of, you know,
it's not fair to pick a winner, right? The U.S. government does not like to pick a winner, so they use the top 2 or 3, right? So that's kind of very similar to what normally happens from the government. They never pick a winner. If they do stuff with Moderna, they're doing it with another one as well. It's they don't want to always pick a winner.
Yeah, because the government's always fair, right? No, I'm just kidding.
But well, they're fair to the top 3, right? So like that's about it.
What else do we have here? We got Radium pulling up 4.6%. You got Atom pulling up 2.8%. Haven't talked about them much. Immutable X pulling up 1.7%. Trump token pulling up 1.2%. You got Stacks pulling up 1.4%. Sonic pulling up 1.8%. ICP pulling up 0.6%. Some of the tokens that pulled back: Aerodrome pulling back 7.1%. Quant pulling back 7.7%, I should say. Lido pulling back 0.9%. Hyperliquid, I guess it had a pretty strong run ups because it's pulled back 4.5%. Yeah. You got the Hex token pulling up 1.8% and HBAR pulling up 0.6%. ETH pulling back 2.7%. Which to me, if today's going to be a red day, I expect tomorrow to be green, but we'll see what happens there. PENGU pulling back 1.5%, SPX pulling back 1.7%. But yeah, little mixed bag here. It's almost it's probably a good 60-40. But it's kind of how I feel right now, actually. If you think about it, like, kind of a little confused. Some winners are being picked, some losers are not. And that's kind of how I feel about the market right now. VVS, the main DEX token for Kronos chain, is up 17.2%. Kava pulling up 2.4%. Starknet pulling up 2.3%. You got Bera chain pulling up 8.2%. Pulse X pulling up 1.7%. Kato pulling up 0.9%. Luna Classic pulling up 1.4%. Then you got Zora pulling back 5.2%. Toshi token pulling back 5.4%. Mog pulling back 5.5%. ZBCN pulling back 2.8%. You got Dog token, the master of all runes, down 2.8%. Snek token, the biggest community meme token on Cardano, is pulled back 1.6%. You got Virtuals pulling up a percentage there. And that is going to wrap up the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and crypto bubbles for you guys. And remember, guys, make sure if you're in the Trench Kitty community or OnChain Revolution community that you share the space on X. We want to get as many people in here as possible, and the other platforms. But thank you guys so much for hanging out for that extension, I guess you could say, of the price action in crypto bubbles.
Yep. Great job, man, on that. And by the way, there is looks like there's a problem with X. It's not showing, but there is views from both accounts there. Okay,
Gotcha.
It's showing on the OnChain Revolution X again. So we're still good. It's just looks like an API error, nothing that we should be worried about. But let's so just so you guys know, we are doing a spin today. Make sure you guys get in on this. These are the names here. There's a really good chance of winning right now if you guys get in here. We do not have enough names, but we're going to spin it anyway, no matter what. 3 different times, 100,000 TK to each of you guys, man. So hopefully you guys get on this wheel. Let's get some more names in the chat. Just put your Twitter handle and TK. We did have a comment in here saying what was TK. TK is Trench Kitty. That's what you see on our screen there, right below us. Trench Kitty is our mascot, is our coin, is the way we are going to be doing things in the future. It's a Solana coin. And it is also a Bitcoin rune with the bridge on Rune Mine. Staking goes live on Monday, by the way. Shout out to all you guys, man. But let's kind of jump into today's show. Today's roll call. ASAP Benji, my guy, number 1, 13th win of the year. Congratulations to you, man. Absolutely awesome. You're definitely in 4th place. It looks like behind Danny Boy. Poor Danny. Danny hasn't won in a while. But it does look like it is a Webdro Lucky Lukey fight. But then we're going to do something nice for the guys who do make this list. So you definitely want to make this list if it is possible. So shout out to you guys, man. And shout out to ASAP Benji for winning the day. Arita TV, my guy. Adds a TK in there. Let me make sure that I added you because I don't think I added you. I should probably just do this later, but do it before I forget. All right, added you. And then we have ASAP Benji again. Lackey Lukey, congrats. Benji, GM. Mats is here. Bitcoin is Truth is here. I added you. Bitcoin is Truth. Buenos dias says, hey guys, won yesterday. Yeah, just be a little patient, guys. If you do end up winning, we will message you. Sometimes it might just take a little while. Sometimes it takes minutes. Sometimes it takes, depending on me and Yagobi's schedule. So we'll definitely reach out to you and get your Taproot wallet for sure. Buenos dias, added you, buddy. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Joko says GMGN, y'all. Market recovering. It does feel that way. It definitely does. Joko says CC0 Art. He added you. He said, have you guys looked into the new BRC 2.0 standard by any chance? Some ordinals based in the new standards, such as Adderals, have been a crazy gains recently. Yeah. I am personally not bullish on BRC 2.0. We were talking with someone yesterday, and they were basically saying that they're super bullish on it because of it opens the 17th and Ordi, potentially the next thing Ordi. I just think that a lot of these older coins that have pumped to billions of dollars won't ever get back to their all-time high, and I see Ordi potentially as that, but who knows, right? I could be completely wrong. I don't know. What do you think about BRC 220? BRC 2.0?
I'm going to look at it. I think everything deserves a good, clean look before Q4 of this year. I'm going to look at every aspect of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and I'm not going to be biased because right now I'm going to be transparent. The only thing I have some runes, and that's it. But I'm going to dive into BRC 2.0. I'm going to dive into Spark. I'm going to dive into Alkanes, and then take a look at some of these other kind of their own environments like Odin.fun and Radfi, and just kind of, I want to do a write-up. I'm going to probably do a write-up on them and just rank them maybe or something, just based off of, you know,
Could be a good show.
Yeah. You know, rank them based off of the research with no bias, because, you know, OG runes is the only thing I have right now. So it's going to be, that'll be a fun thing to get into.
Yeah, 100%. I got added. You make Bitcoin fun again, Rick G. My guy, I did not add you. I will add you. Cash Cats, the legend. I'll add you as well. Appreciate you, my friend. Chief Axel is here. Rolando is here. Shout out to you, my friend. I added you as well. Nocturnal. He said Yagobi is fired up this morning. Let's effing go. So shout out to Nocturnal. Let's see. Glass Hopper. I got you, my friend. Joseph says, what is CK? We answered that. It's our mascot. Orlando actually came in and says Trenskitty is on Solana and BTC. Shizzy's coin. It's on-chain revolution coin for sure. Stan said, what an amazing time to be alive. DCA, 100%. Stan also says, does Bitcoin need Arch to beat Tom Lee? I'm a little worried about Arch. You know, with Spark dropping and stuff like that, and Arch is kind of still. I wouldn't
worry about. Don't look at it like beating Tom Lee. Don't look at that. Like Tom Lee is, he knows the fundamentals of Bitcoin too. So, like, you know, I guess what you're alluding to is that, like, you know, the Bitcoin ecosystem might not thrive because of Ethereum. No, don't look at it like that. Look at it like this. You want, you know, there just to be a home base in general for OG runes, so we can get that liquidity flow in and out quickly. You know what I mean? That's what we need. But yeah, it's not. I mean, do you think I'm wrong with that perspective? Like against Tom Lee?
Bitcoin's not Arch or not. Bitcoin's not competing with Ethereum. Like, I'm sorry, you can add Arch, Spark, BRC 2220. It's not competing. I mean, we saw $1 billion of inflow stablecoin last night. In 2 hours, $1 billion. I don't think we ever see that on Arch, potentially. You know what I mean? I just don't see it.
When you say not competing with Ethereum, what do you mean? Like Ethereum is too dominant?
Yeah, I mean, there's no touching Ethereum when it comes to, you know, the DApps that are on there, the longevity these DApps have lived. Tom Lee's not going to be looking at Bitcoin because of Arch. Is kind of my point.
Oh, yeah. But he's talking about like beat them. So
no, he says that does Bitcoin need Arch to beat Tom Lee? Basically, beat Ethereum, right? So he's referring as Tom Lee as Ethereum. So my point is,
the battle
Arch
is not
4% of Ethereum in total value locked, the DApps and everything else. There's no competition.
Yeah. And also, like, that's not why Tom Lee's necessarily even in on Ethereum. It's just because of it's number two, it's the staking earnings and stuff. It has nothing to do with in my opinion, my humble opinion, with the overall ecosystem of Ethereum. But like, we just need Arch for Bitcoin's ecosystem or something equivalent, and we need these layers and these environments that can scale Bitcoin for Bitcoin's ecosystem to do well in general. Like, I don't even compare them to Ethereum anymore. You can't do that. You're right. It's not like in terms of ecosystem and DApps and stuff. It's not like Bitcoin just needs to get going.
Exactly. 100%. Yeah, I just
well, it came back the other way into my brain because I was trying to figure out where you were getting at, but it made sense when you talked about like the ecosystem DApps and the TVL and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Stan says, wow, Department of Commerce, mama, we made it. Yeah, dude, this administration, amazing, absolutely amazing. Myself says January 2019 Bitcoin bottom, January 23 Bitcoin bottoms, January 27 Bitcoin doesn't bottom. No, so I think it does bottom in 2027, but I think that does happen potentially towards the back end of 2027, right before the Bitcoin halving of 2028. I think that this is a delayed cycle, and we're going to see potentially a top. Man, it could bottom in 2026, late 2026. I don't know. We'll talk about that after we get to the top, right? Let's get to the top first.
Yeah, exactly.
What the bottom is. Level Up Tech is here. I got you. Glasshopper is here. Murr is here. Mogar the Great, my guy. My Crypto Space UK is here. Shout out to you, my friend. Mogar says, sorry, this is the right X address. Yeah, I'll find you, Mogar. I think I have DMs with you anyway. If you do win, KDN, appreciate every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. It is absolutely awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right, I think we got one more thing, and that is news from the trenches. I think we did kind of went over the trenches a little bit with GOAT. And that aspect. But what are you thinking from the trenches? Is it something that you are looking into right now? You considering looking into, or is it something? I mean, from our talk yesterday, I kind of feel like you're just not going to GMGN anymore.
No, I'm checking it out. I'm just doing it
Yeah.
from a clearly, research perspective, which is
Yeah.
I need to do right now. But yeah, so even with Solana, there's going to be a moment to where things become easy.
Yeah.
Not, I don't know if it will ever be easy, but much easier. And I think that's when you got to if you have that disposable income, then you can roll the dice then.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that's going against GOAT right now, is that it's not easy yet. But with that being said, Solana is getting a lot of attention because there is a treasury company that is pouring into Solana right now. I mean, the price has jumped up, and you see the strength in Solana. So it might come in September or October to where things get easier. But does that mean that GOAT is kind of that, is that Pepe? I mean, it could be, because it's like you need a head start. You need to get going if you're going to billions, right? So if it's at like 20 million when things get easy, then that could easily jump it to 100, right? So, but I think the biggest thing for me is sit and watch, kind of see like when you're starting to see daily runners get to like 5-10 million, because I do think that day comes, but will it be the day I stopped degenning a couple days ago? I mean, sometimes that's how it works. But my overall thesis, though, is that we do need the overall alt market to be easier in general, because then that Solana will be even easier at that point, right? For that, in my opinion. But like right now, if you're taking a look, it's being pushed by someone that is big in the space, so you got to consider that too. It did break trend. It broke trend. So this is kind of that moment that I talked about. It earned itself a dip, but how does it react to the dip? What's the market cap at?
Market cap's at 8.7. It does look juicy here, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. So it earned itself a dip, right? But how does it respond to that? That's the biggest thing. Does it drop to 6 if it goes below? What's that kind of support level that we see below that?
It
right
does
there?
look like the support would be. Sorry, let me grab.
So it's already broke the first that first little level of support, and then now there's that second level that's coming up. But if it breaks below that, that's trouble, in my opinion. You gotta. I would even put it up at that higher part right there.
Well, the reason I went with there because all these right here.
Yeah,
So
I guess it's close. It's close
Yeah.
enough, right? And it's kind of like last line of defense, right? So
Yeah.
I agree with that. So what's that price though? I mean, you're talking about if you put your line right there,
Yeah,
you're
6, 8, 6, 7.
kind of what I was saying, like around that $6 million mark. If it breaks below that, and you're talking about heading to 5, 4, concern comes into the picture. Comes into the picture, because now you're saying, okay, is this does this have the support that we thought it did? I mean, the holder count is okay. What is it at 11,000?
Holder count.
It's right there.
Yeah, 11,800.
Okay, so that's okay. I think once you start getting to the 20,000 holders, but you need the market cap to probably go up a little bit more, then you're starting to solidify some real like holder number support there. It's already going to get listed on the BS exchanges that list quickly, Mexi and all those that list quickly. I'm talking about Mexi is established. I get that, but they do jump to listings. So I'd be watching for that. How does it handle 6? Do you take a small bet at 6? Do you because your bet is that it's going to bounce off of that support area. If you take a small bet there and it gets back and starts a trend to the upside, maybe you DCA to the upside. That's something to think about. But it is risky. I mean,
I love 8 million though on this. I don't know. Is there something that's calling me right now that's saying 8 million is a really good spot?
The Holy Ghost. I was kidding.
So I mean, if the only reason I'm even considering this, because you know me, I don't play in this shit, right? The only reason I am considering this is because he is the main character of the cycle, if we like it or not, right? And you can argue that Ansem was, the
Well,
2023,
of this year.
2024. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, of this year, he is, and I think he does have a comeback story. And could this be it? And if it is, I want to be a part of it.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. I really do
So
feel you on that. But that is pretty much what's happening in the trenches. There's a lot of, there's right now, there's also the launchpad kind of wars that are, we got our good friend from Emblem Vault, which also has the migrate.fund product underneath Hustle, talking about, the migrations is something that could really halt these launchpad wars and stuff like that. So we're going to see a transition into something that's going to evolve, hopefully into something better. It turns from a caterpillar into a butterfly. I don't know if Solana could ever be a butterfly, but maybe a moth, right? going from like a caterpillar to a moth. I'll take that because it's better than what it was. But we just got to wait and see, right? We got to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, dude. Ugh. All right, I'll do it later. But I'm looking at like a video, so like I think it could be something special. But we'll see. We'll see. Stan says, does Richard Hart have a comeback story? Yes, Richard Hart he's actually building something apparently. Like I don't know what the hell it is, but he's building something. Crypto Space says Momo Army in the house. I mean, he has a seriously insane amount of money to build anything he wants. So we'll see what he creates. But apparently it was like a UPS, decentralized UPS or something. I don't know, but we'll see with that. But let's what do we want to do? Okay, let's get into the wheel spin. Let's spin this damn wheel.
I think I got everyone.
Stan, I added you to this. I need your Twitter handle again. I think it's like Do, but if you win, I'll find you. That's the only reason why I really need Twitter handles to make sure. So, but let's do it. Let's spin this damn wheel.
Good luck.
First one. Congratulations, Mirko. Let me make sure I lock you in. Like I said, just give me a little bit of time. Today's one of our busier days, but I will definitely make sure that I get you guys what you deserve here. So let's give this a quick shuffle. Spin it again. Congratulations. Fun Bitcoin 2009. Absolute legend.
Congrats.
Oh, no. That didn't work. All right. Okay. Got you. Lock you in, bro. And then the final one. Let's give us a little bit more of a shuffle here and a spin.
Yep. And guys, remember, I put a poll up just now in the Trench Kitty community, so go vote. Because if I don't get I want at least like 20 votes, because I want at least 20 people to show up to the space. If I get at least 20 people, then I will host a space this Saturday.
Yep. Mogar says it's crazy to watch a niche industry go from nothing to a household name, Bitcoin. Last time I saw this happen was a DBZ Goku. What have you seen? I'm going to sound cheesy, but I remember seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin from wrestling of 1996 King of the Ring, and I was like, this guy is going to be a legendary. That was like one of my biggest calls I think I've ever made in my life, and I was right about that. But I think that's what he means, because he said DBZ with Goku, and he first saw Goku, he was like, this is going to be legendary. What was one of those things for you, maybe in crypto or out?
Well, I can tell you the opposite. I thought Johnny Manziel was going to be huge. Because he had the energy, he had all the stuff, you know what I mean? And I thought he was going to be big. But I don't know. I guess like in terms of like mainstream, I'm not so sure. I got to think of something that I thought about, but I think in crypto, one that's still kind of playing out is I think Chronos Chain is going to be something because of crypto.com's involvement. You know what I mean? So that is something that like I do feel like they're going to be like big. But I think it's going to be like the slow cook that they've had, and then all of a sudden, once they are in the good graces of all these, it's not going to just stop with the government. They're going to be, getting in good with the institutions and corporations in the U.S. I think. So we'll see.
Yeah, 100%. Another one that failed. I think Carson Wentz was going to be like the best quarterback of all time.
I think everybody fell for that one.
And now he's not even in the league. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones because it is a fun topic. Maybe we'll make it a topic in the future as well. We can kind of get a couple. We can get them preloaded. But I think that's our show for you guys today. We're going to be doing a recording with the guys from Ordinal Hive. They are doing a mint tomorrow. We'll get all the details. That video will be out later tonight. We're going to make sure that video is out tonight. Besides that, tomorrow's Friday. Not a lot going on for the weekend. It is Labor Day weekend. So I hope you guys have a safe day. We will be live on Monday, right? We're live Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I think so. We work on every holiday except for Baby Jesus Day.
100%. And if the markets are popping that day, we might actually come on live. So we'll see. But yeah, that's our show, guys. Really appreciate all you guys. We do have 154 on X, 106 on Twitch, 114 on YouTube, not to mention everyone on Rumble. We had a problem with Kick today. I'm going to figure that out.
Yeah.
Rumble.
I tried to log in, but
Abstract. Yeah.
But it made me try to do an authorization thing.
I have that.
Okay.
I have Google Author for that, but yeah, I'll log into that. They see what happens is they change that code every now and then, and you just gotta do the streaming thing. So, but yeah, that's our show, guys. Yeah.
Yep. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. And remember, like, if you guys are going through something right now, it could be high stress right now because most of the audience and everybody, they're dealing in alts and stuff. Just remember to like regroup if you need to. Take a break, go and take a deep breath and remember what your convictions were and what got you to the success that you have had, right? And so appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing up each and every day. This week has been a little bit slower because of the Bitcoin Asia conference, but we know that you guys are big supporters of ours and we greatly appreciate it. And remember, go vote in the Trench Kitty community. I put the poll up. I need 20 guys if I'm gonna host that on Saturday, college football Saturday, the biggest Saturday for college football. This kicks off this week, but I want to hang out with you guys. So appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, we couldn't do this, but also without our partners, we can do it as well. So if you could check them out, man, we would greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is crushing it each and every day. If you're going to swap for runes or altcoins, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. Why? Because you will earn Amber points, and Amber points go towards a give back to early adopters of the platform. Also, if you want to help test their borrowing and lending product, which I think you should, but if you're too busy, I get it. But if you want to get your foot into the door, build your network, go to their X account at Sats Terminal. Message their X account and let them know that you want to be a part of their beta test group, and they will let you into a Telegram and then have you start testing the borrowing and lending. You can borrow Bitcoin, borrow against your Bitcoin, all that great stuff. This team is amazing. The CTO and CEO, great leadership for sure. But yeah, swap for runes and altcoins on satsterminal.com. Don't forget that. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. Look, you can jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Ethereum right now. You can actually jump your Taproot wizards and take out a loan against it on the Gandhi protocol on Ethereum, which is the largest borrowing and lending NFT platform on Ethereum. You can take a loan out against it, right? And I'm sure they're going to open that up for other collections as well. But you can bridge or jump anything over to Ethereum right now that is NFT ordinal, like counterparty NFTs or just ordinal collections from Bitcoin to Ethereum. Also, they're looking to expand this to different chains, Abstract, Base, possibly Merlin, and of course Solana is on their list. And if you want to get into a product that's awesome on Solana, you can check out their AI Agent Hustle, which is their, in my opinion, their not their best product necessarily, but like they're all good products, but the best AI product in Solana, and I think it's the top 3 in the entire space. So if you go to AI Agent Hustle, is it agenthustle.ai, and you just do a simple query. It's like an LLM that's more advanced and more specified into crypto, but you can say, hey, find a couple 5-10x plays for me that are safer on Solana. It'll bring back a couple options and reasons why. And then you can also use him for conditional trading, and they have their leaderboard up right now. So if you make trades, or they have a social leaderboard too. If you actually post about it, you can get higher on the rank on their social leaderboard as well. But yeah, if you want to do a conditional trade, you can say, hey, buy fart coin when it pulls back 20% and then sell it when I'm up 80%, 100%. You can go to the gym, they'll take care of it for you. And this is just this phase, guys. They're going to be expanding this to other chains. stay tuned for big news, big headlines coming up. Also, they have an awesome product called migrate.fund. If you launch the token on Pump Fund or another launchpad, you want to migrate to another one, you can do so. They can help you get that liquidity out and to get started on for a fresh new start. You can also maintain your own liquidity, but head over to migrate.fund. You can check it out. And if you're serious about this, you can maybe get entered into their second cohort, because I think it's too late for the first one. But yeah, awesome technology. They have actually changed the game, and I think they're going to be huge with migrate.fund. Also, lastly, is their Bitcoin Rune, and they have a TGE for it at block 915,000. If you bought an Founder Vault Keys NFT on OpenSea, you can search Founder Vaults. This is an ERC 721. It's a pre-sale for this Bitcoin Rune on block 915,000, which is about the middle of September. This will unlock, and you'll have, I believe, 2 million runes per vault there. So they're going to give some more updates on this, but exciting stuff. Parent company, parent token is kind of the idea here. But head over to emblem.vision to learn about everything I just broke down there. And then Artura.finance, they are starting their trading competition tomorrow, guys. They just posted about it. Make sure you follow them at Artura Finance. It's in their X account, but they're going to start a trading competition for live prizes, guys. So you want to use this not only for the prizes, but you can earn points by using this. You're down in your trade, I see there, unfortunately.
I'm down $5, bro. Yeah. What do I do?
24%. Moon or dust, baby. But yeah, you want to earn as many points as possible by using the perps decks here. But if you want to get the biggest multiplier for points, add liquidity to their liquidity vaults, guys. That's a little alpha there. Also, you'll earn points for the botanic side because they're tracking activity on the botanic side as well. Head over to Artura.finance today and make sure you join every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, as we have an Artura show segment that is every Tuesday about trading and diving into the market as well. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet built for the best user experience, right? That's what they're building, for the best UI UX. They support Bitcoin fungible tokens and Cardano fungible tokens, and now Sui fungible tokens as well. So you can swap for all of those if they partnered with DEX aggregators to make that possible. This team is trying to make this the best UI UX, like I said. So if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to the Google Play Store, download the application. You can actually buy their token, which is called Token, stake it. They have it directly in their application there. Also, there's an alpha section. You can find our channel and other YouTubers if you scroll to the very bottom. But head over to Tokyo.io to dive in there. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. They also have an awesome AI product called The Wizard. And right now, the version 0.3 is live, but you can participate in testing the beta version of version 0.4. And then in the beta version, you can do cross-chain swaps. All you got to have is Bitcoin in the Merlin ecosystem, and you can swap for Solana tokens. You can swap for BNB tokens, every chain that's connected to their Wizard there. Also, you can ask for the top 10 wallets on in the Fartcoin. It'll bring back that information. So really awesome advanced AI product as well on Merlin Chain. So check that out. And if you want to be a part of the proof of stake security, there's 3 options for you to do that. There's the staking Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. On average is 16% APR. You're not going to find that anywhere. That's awesome. But it is locked up till September 30th. So just know that. And then there's the 2 options on the Merlin Chain token side, where you can stake Merlin Chain token, Merl token, day to day. You earn 15% APR. You can grab those rewards every day and compound interest those. But if you try to withdraw your Merlin tokens, it does take 7 days for a cool down period for that. And then the last option is the bonded 6-month option, which is a 45% APR. And same thing, you claim those rewards daily, compound interest that baby. You know, the magic of compound interest is crazy. But not financial advice. That's just something that you can do. Of course, it's locked up for 6 months, but you earn 45% APR. And if you want to check out their team, they are in Hong Kong, Bitcoin Asia. So just look for their booth there. Head over to their X account, and you can message them if you want to get connected, if you're a builder, etc., etc. They're doing amazing things. Head over to merlinchain.io today. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive, Fonzie and his team. They have the fastest Ordinal marketplace, guys. You can sell your Ordinal and then you receive it right away. They're able to do mempool insights for trader advantages and stuff like that. And fastest Ordinal marketplace. They aggregate from all of the Ordinal marketplaces, so they find you the cheapest prices. Head over to ordinalhive.io today. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners we really appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Yep. Great job, man. As always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. These articles, guys, are amazing because they're 3-minute reads, right? You can knock these out in like 3 minutes and go to the next one. Every single Tuesday, we drop one of these articles. So if you're interested in what's happening, the biggest news story of that week, we got it here and we have it all the way back, like I said, from 2023. If you guys need a VPN, we got that NordVPN. Highly recommend it. If you want to use something like Hyperliquid or even MEXC, for instance, and you can't because you're being geo-blocked, do not let that stop you. That is not your country stopping you. That is the site stopping you because of where you're at. We're living now in a world without borders. That is the internet. And do not let stupid things like that stop you from using the products you want to use, especially now with the a government like the Trump administration that is very crypto friendly, right? So eventually these will go away, but for now this is the only way around it. And as get yourself a VPN, get started early, especially on stuff like Hyperliquid and so on and so on. So use this today. $3.09 a month. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it, and if you lock it in for 3 months at this price, that's fine. But after the 3 months, you still want it, you have to pay that $11.59. Do not do that. Pay the $3.09. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it. Forget it. Now you have a VPN and potentially into the bear market, right? So you're good to go. You'll be able to use everything. I really appreciate you guys checking that out. And remember, we do have a store, guys. We use a third-party Shopify. We have hats, jackets, and so much more. If you would like us to add your PFP or your product or whatever, let us know. We can pretty much add anything to the store. We have full reins on that. We did recently add the Trench Kitty hoodie. I still have to buy this. I'm going to be buying this probably most likely this weekend. I absolutely love this hoodie, this jacket. Check it all out here at onchainrevolution.io. And remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
peace.
OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain revolution.